Hey Future Gen, this is Dr. Stan. I just wanted to send you guys a quick email to just check in to see how you're all doing. I'm hearing a lot of things, and we're feeling them too. I've heard about being laid off, heard about businesses just not being able to access anything at this stage. I mean, we're down an employee, not because we let Hannah go or anything, but because she has family members that are concerned about her exposure, here at their office. And so the long and short of it is, we're paying very close attention. It's impossible to not be affected at this stage. And if you know anybody who is actually sick or who's passed or anything like that, I know one high school friend whose grand aunt passed away. She had a heart condition, and she was on a lot of different medications to support her heart condition. And I think that's just generally what happened with her. And so the long and short of it is, regardless of how you've been affected, we're here for you, and we are, our hearts go out to you, absolutely. One of the things that I wanted to mention to all of you is that we have started a group. I literally wrote this thing backwards so that you could actually read it, since when we shoot these films in selfie position or whatever it is, everything behind it comes out backwards. And so I wrote it backwards so that you could see it correctly, and you can go into Facebook and actually join this Facebook group. We're going to be sharing a ton of information on just how your system can stay resilient and those types of things. We're also going to be sharing I'm going to be sharing a lot of the things that I do, and I'm going to show you, videos about my morning routine and certain things and routines that we've done in our house to protect ourselves, things that we do on the day-to-day basis for many, many years now, because it's not always, being prepared for a situation like this isn't about, taking whatever supplement today or getting that one adjustment today to clear sinuses. It's about all the things that you've done in the past. I've been thinking about doing so many of things like this. Like the support group is something I've been thinking about for a long time. I've been thinking about starting a video series called Why Wellness. So many of you are on wellness. We just had a patient come in today to start back on wellness. And it's because I think in this time period, it's really important that our systems are functioning as optimal capacity. And it's one of those things where it's so crazy right now, where I actually feel a little bit fearful, not of the virus per se in my regard, or whether we're being quarantined and things like that. I'm actually a little bit fearful of other chiropractors at this stage, because chiropractors are turning other chiropractors in for basically just talking about what the true science about chiropractic is, which is you have a better functioning nervous system, you have a better functioning immune system. And they're accusing some chiropractors of saying that they're treating COVID-19, which has never, ever, ever been a part of our narrative or lexicon in our practice, but especially about chiropractic at all. And so the long and short of it is, this video is about making sure that you have the support that you need. We're going to be sharing a lot of information. I'm going to be sharing a lot of the science that a lot of times doesn't make it to the mainstream media, particularly numbers about how they're breaking down in places like Italy, or where the death rate is super high, or how some countries are avoiding a lot of these different challenges. And are they using the same strategies as we are in America? Are they using different strategies, and which ones are actually being more effective at keeping the one, exposure rate, but two, infection rate, and three, death rate from going so high? And the long and short of it is, it's not always cut and dry. And I would just, as I said in my last video, do your best, do your very, very best to limit the amount of input you're getting from the mainstream media generally. In our world, it's just slightly different. It's not that mainstream media is wrong. I never want to say that. It's just usually one part. When the picture is as big as a screen and they're giving you this little bit, oftentimes when you fixate on something like a death rate and you see that it's climbing, but you don't break down and actually understand context, then fear and hysteria and panic tends to be the natural result. And when you open up the view, some of my mentors would always say, whenever there's a symptom in your own body, the first step that we typically have as a triggered response is fear. But sometimes it's not. In my world, sometimes I have a symptom and I'm like, oh man, that's actually really good that I'm fighting this thing, because I'm gonna get through it and I'm actually have more resilience. I don't expect that for all of you per se, but what I will say is that I want you to get from between stimulus and whatever that symptom or whatever we have going on, there's a space in between that is a gap that makes us human, that is there before the actual response. Between stimulus and the response, there's a space, and however we can increase that space is called choice. It's from my reference to Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and he got that from Viktor Frankl, who is a Holocaust survivor, wrote literally the best book that I've ever read in my entire life, called Man's Search for Meaning. So for me, that space is enhanced by a trait called curiosity. And that between stimulus, whatever is the information on TV or the information that we provide you, and response, that there's a space in between that you can enhance that gap. That is curiosity at this stage. This isn't a virus that's just decimating the population. It's not. That's not how it has shown itself, and that's not how it's moving, and that's not how the statistics, or if you look at the context, the statistics are showing. And so we have time, and we have time in that space. What that space allows you to do is down-regulate your stress, down-regulate your sympathetic fight or flight response. And when you do, one, that boosts your immune system. And two, what it allows you to do is respond in a way that's more useful, that's better for you and your kids that are actually stuck at home with you because schools are closed and everything. But the long and short of it also is I want to let you guys into the world that I live in. I want you guys to provide some of your different strategies and tips. I want to crowdsource a little bit because we just one of our dads basically just say, yeah, kiddo woke up and was bonkers today, and I'd just love to know what everybody else is doing, to make sure that we're one, making sure that we're doing all the good things for our kids, but also just like making sure at the same time, like the homeschooling that homeschooling now when you weren't a homeschooler before, like that's a big change. And when that's a big change, like you need resources to how to make that sustainable, because we don't really know how long this is going to go for. And in the end, it's for me, this group is going to be one of the hubs of where we're going to be informing you of all the things that we're doing, not only in the office, but also just how we're going to navigate all of this together. For me, I love the fact that we could be more connected. That's my hope and my dream for humankind as a result of this, is that I've seen more people walking outside. It's not as common anymore because they close the beaches and a lot of those different types of things. But I'd love to see more family time, more conscious connection time, and those types of things that have been so run down. Times like this give us the opportunity to show how much we can actually bring for that. And so the long and short of it is, join the group. I can't wait to see you there. I can't wait to share a lot of our information that I've been looking up. I can't wait to share with you information that's going to temper some of that stress and panic that's out there. And then also at the same time, just let you in on some of the kind of the back end stuff on how I've lived my life in the past few years, and how we're taking care of ourselves as a family, and how we've taken care of ourselves as a family. Thank you for reading our email. It says also in there about businesses. If you've been affected, if you've lost your job, however it is, just let us know. It doesn't have to be public in the group. You can shoot me a personal message. You can shoot me an email. We want to make sure that you're taken care of and you're supported through this time. And also in that group, we could also share whose businesses are being affected and how. And I have some strategies on how we can still support small businesses and local businesses without actually being able to go to the actual business. So in the end, grateful for you, grateful for the time, and grateful for your listening. And I hope that I hope this email and this video sits well with you, and jump into the group, and we're gonna all kind of hang out together in a different capacity. If you're not in the practice right now and you're not coming in, you got to do whatever you got to do. There's no blame. There's no weird stuff. I've seen interesting posts from other practices where the perception has been that there's a lot of pressure. Like, I don't ever want to pressure you ever to like feel like you have to come in. At the same time, those of you who have made it in, thank you for letting us know that we have been one of those places of normalcy and safe haven for you that you just haven't been able to find anywhere else. Cheers, guys.